Welcome to the Daily Decant, your 5-minute briefing on the world of wine. Each episode delivers practical insights to help you choose, order, and talk about wine with more confidence in everyday social settings. Let's get into today's decant. Welcome to Sunday and the weekly wrap-up. We made it. 6 episodes, 6 regions, 30 wines from one extraordinary evening at the Wine Spectator Grand Tour in Denver. Today I want to zoom all the way out and tell you what this event, as a snapshot, tells us about where the wine world is right now. And I will say, to start, as a side note, I'm a 30-year-old millennial who drinks wine, obviously, and is trying to educate other millennials on wine. And the amount of people that came up to me from the wine industry and said, gosh, we just don't understand 30-year-olds these days, was actually crazy. Multiple people came up to me and were just like, how should we market to find you guys? Are millennials even drinking anymore? And, the biggest trend is that nobody is drinking. And so it was a really interesting thing and comment that people were making, but I shared with them, no, we're out here. We do drink. We do enjoy wine. It's an interesting demographic as well because wine is expensive and not everyone can afford wine, right? And that's another reason I try to look at lower cost options and different things like that. But it was just a really interesting comment that people were bringing to me. And I was one of the younger people there for sure. But it was a really lovely event. Everyone in the wine industry is so friendly. Okay, so that was a side note. But getting back into it, starting with the big picture, Italy dominated the Grand Tour. Not surprising. More than half of the top 30 wines were Italian. And it reflects something that's been building for years, which is that Italian producers, particularly in Tuscany and Piedmont, are making the best wine they've ever made. A combination of exceptional recent vintages, increasingly thoughtful farming, and a winemaking philosophy that has moved far away from the over-extraction and heavy oak towards elegance and terroir expression. All of it is showing up in the glass. And so if you've not been paying attention to Italian wine, now is the time to start. The second big trend is the 2021 vintage is the one to buy. Tuscany, Barolo, Napa Valley, all 3 regions produced outstanding wines in 2021, and the bottles showing up in the market right now from that vintage are already drinking beautifully while having significant aging potential. This isn't always the case. Great vintages often require patience. The 2021s are generous enough to drink now and structured enough to reward the seller. So that combination is rare and valuable. So third, South America is no longer a value play, it's a quality play. Chile, specifically with Clos Pata, Don Melchor, and Vic all earning 95 points, is producing wines that stand confidently alongside the best in Europe. Argentina's Matervini from Cafayate is doing something genuinely exciting with the high-altitude Malbec, and the quality gap between South America and the traditional powerhouses have officially closed. And the prices have not caught up yet. That window will not stay open forever, so if you're wanting to add some of these to your collection, add them now. Fourth, California still knows how to make Cabernet Sauvignon, of course, and the 2021 vintage showed in its full force. 4 Napa Cabs at 95 points, each expressing a distinct sub-appellation with clarity and elegance. Diamond Mountain's volcanic intensity, Mount Veeder's earthy complexity, Rutherford's silky generosity, Beckstoffer Dr. Crane's historic precision. Napa Cab at this level is as good as it's ever been. And fifth, surprise of the week, Oregon's Zena Crown at 96 points was the highest scoring non-Italian wine at the entire event. That tells you something important. The Willamette Valley, and specifically Eola-Amity Hills, is producing Pinot Noir that belongs in the same conversation as Burgundy. Not imitation Burgundy, something distinct on its own. If you haven't explored Oregon Pinot beyond the introductory level, this is your invitation. Now I wanted to jump quickly into my personal top 5 favorites from the Grand Tour. Again, I tried all 30 of these wines, a couple additional ones I tried as well that I just didn't even take notes on. So this is not by score. This is just 5 wines that stay with me the longest. I have notes to go source these bottles in my wine book. Number 1, Matervini Malbec Cafayate Valley Alteza 2021. This is the high-altitude Malbec at its most serious, the kind of wine that reframes what Argentina is capable of. Number 2, Torbreck the Factor Barossa Valley 2022. Old wine Shiraz with the kind of depth and structure that demands your full attention. Number 3, Tenuta Meraviglia, Bolgheri Vigna Pianali, 2022. The surprise of the evening, a producer most people haven't heard of yet. Making wine at this level will turn heads. Number 4, Château de Beaucastel, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, 2023. The lone French representative, and it showed up magnificently. A reminder that the Southern Rhone still belongs in the conversation. And last but not least, Viña Don Melchor, Cabernet Sauvignon 2022, Chile's flagship cab. Every sip makes the case for South America's arrival at the very top tier of world wine. So here's one thing I want you to walk away with today. Wine events like the Grand Tour exist to take you out of your comfort zone, to put something in your glass you might have never sought out on your own or never heard of. And it's also really challenging to try so many wines side by side in one evening on an everyday basis. The 98-point Brunello from a small family estate in Montalcino, that 96-point Pinot from an Oregon hilltop, and the sparkling wine from California house most people walk past. The world of wine is larger and more exciting right now than any point in history. Your job and mine is to keep exploring it. So thank you so much for spending the week with me on the Daily Decant, overviewing the World Tour from the Wine Spectator event. All 30 wines from the Grand Tour are listed across this week's episodes in your show notes. And then I'll list the ones from today as well. That's today's Daily Decant. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends so you can continue building your wine knowledge in just a few minutes a day. See you tomorrow for your next decant.